Welcome to Between the Brackets. I'm Yaron Karen. And my guest for this episode is Nischay Nahata, whom I've known for a long time, since about 2013, as a consultant for my MediaWiki consulting company, WikiWorks. When he's not doing consulting, Nischay is also the co-founder of True, spelled TRUWW, a home interior company based in India. We'll be talking about all of that in this episode. Nischay, it's great to talk to you again. Thank you for coming on.
Same here. Great talking to you again.
So first of all, where are you located?
So right now I'm in Bangalore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been here since 2013. Yes, I think almost the time we started working together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big tech hub over there.
Yes.
Yeah. How's the lockdown going right now?
Yeah. So we have a lockdown in Bangalore since like April 2000. April 28, and it's just going on.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
uh, yeah, I think I'm at home since the first or second week of April. Have just really stepped out once or twice, and that's only for vaccinations.
Really, you literally haven't left the
Yeah,
house? That Oh,
yeah,
wow. Okay. I hope you can get out. They say it's very good for health in general to get some exposure to the
yeah.
sun.
So right now that's only not the sun, but we have our balconies where we go. So
All right.
that's all that we do right now.
Very good. Wow, that's depressing. But
Yeah, yeah,
well,
that's
I
true. But
hope.
then we are hopefully by the 14th of this month it's going to reopen, is what we are expecting.
Okay, that's very good. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Um, so um, so let's talk about MediaWiki. I first got to know you when I believe when you were a student in the Google Summer of Code.
Right.
When you were still in college.
Right. Yeah, I think Marcus or Yaron introduced me to you, one of them.
That could be, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what do you remember? Yeah, I wasn't involved in your project. What do you remember from the project you did?
Oh, I do remember a lot of the work that I did. It was a pretty good project, I would say. So the project was called Green SMW, which means Green Semantic Media Wiki, and the idea was to make Semantic Media Wiki faster. So we did a lot of cache implementations and other areas of logic in the backend, so that Semantic Media Wiki could be faster. And
Yeah.
towards the end of the project, we did some benchmarks, and we did find that we were, our page saves were faster, or other operations had actually become faster.
Yeah, that's great. Did you think at the time that MediaWiki seemed like something that you could keep doing, or were you not sure
Really,
at that point of what?
I never imagined that that would be something, I would be doing for so many years in my life.
Right.
So yeah, so it all just started with I just wanted to do a summer project, and actually I was trying to do it before the previous year as well, but I just was too late to apply to Google Summer of Code, and then next year I started early, and then out of the I just ran through the list of organizations, and I found Wikipedia to be something interesting, and I thought, let's try with them. And then the folks were really good in helping me start over, and understand how the development process is and everything.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's interesting with Google Summer of Code with Wikimedia Foundation. There really aren't that many projects that directly affect Wikipedia, even if you do work for the
Yes.
Wikimedia Foundation.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
true.
And
Yeah, that is something I realized at a pretty late point of time, where that, okay, this is semantic media wiki. It is not actively used in Wikipedia or any other wikis, but then at that point of time there was still some hope that it might be used, or or at least it is used in the internal wikis. So anyways, by the time I had already gotten involved with that particular software, and uh, I thought it was the project was really cool. I had been interested in stuff like cache and stuff, so I thought, yeah, that's good to go. And
Yeah.
Marcus also was really great, very good mentor for me.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Yeah. Marcus Critch. He's been on this podcast also. He's a friend of mine.
Right.
Yeah, I remember once telling him that you were now doing consulting work for us, and he was really surprised. Like he didn't know,
Is it?
what you were
I,
up to.
I do remember that he was the one who told me about you.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, no. He's always been on the academic research side of it. He was never
Right.
interested in
I do know that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So that's interesting though. But by the time you discover that it was not, you were never, your code was never going to end up on Wikipedia. It was already too late.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when you try to apply for the summer of code projects, already you have invested a lot of time in learning the code base and everything, and you probably cannot apply for two organizations, is what I learned. You end up spending a lot of time in one to make your chance really good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, were you interested in other open source or other software at that time?
Yeah, so I was interested in Firefox, Mozilla, and I was interested in VLC. Like those were the obvious ones, because those are the softwares which we always use in our day-to-day life.
Yeah. Oh, VLC. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a guy on this podcast, Derek Jan Hartman, who's was also involved a lot in VLC. That's a
Okay.
yeah. That's the big open source video player.
Yes.
I don't know if it's as popular now as it used to be. Now that everything's on YouTube and so forth.
Obviously, yeah, it is not that useful, but during those times it was the go-to thing. Now you just prefer to just stream it over directly on
Yeah.
whatever website or app you have.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, you started doing consulting work. Yeah, I don't know how much there is to say about in general about the last 8 years of you doing consulting projects. Are there any memorable projects?
Well, I think yeah, I mean the all of the projects that we do, obviously, some of them do have a good impact, and for example, there was a project that I did, I think for IEEE. So that
Yeah.
was not really very much into MediaWiki, but then it was a React project which was using the data from MediaWiki, and I did not know any of React, so we just took on that project and because of MediaWiki, and just learn stuff and built it. So there have been a lot of learnings, and if understanding also on the business side, that how things are being used in companies. So it has been a really good journey overall.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. What kind of things have you learned on on the technical side? That's an interesting question. I mean, from system administration to different frameworks and all that.
I would say most of the extensions that we have done, mostly only DocBook is something which where we learn something which is totally out of the box. Apart from
DocBook, yeah,
that,
right.
yeah. Apart from that, most of it is just the regular coding stuff. The more important part is not that we go and learn something completely new. It's more about how we mix things together and make something useful for the our client. So that has been the bigger part of it, when we made things which were not possible on a wiki. Nobody thought it would be possible on a wiki, and just we did it.
Yeah. DocBook is an interesting one. You created a very interesting extension called DocBook Export for a project for NATO. And I hope more people find out about that extension and use it.
Right. I think it's a general purpose useful thing, where you can just host pages on wikis, and you can create a PDF or book out of it.
Right. Yeah. Despite its name, I guess the main use is for to
Correct.
create a PDF, but really you can once you have it in docbook format, you can export to all kinds of formats.
Right. Yes.
Um, yeah.
I also
Sorry.
worked for Wikimedia Foundation for 6 months. I
Oh
don't think
yeah,
you know
that's
that.
right. Yeah,
Yeah. So
I
some
did
of
know.
my code did end up into the Wikipedia.
Is that true? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What were you doing for the Wikimedia Foundation? This was in
So I was
2014
working on
or
this
something.
was in 2013.
Okay.
It was in my last 6 years, 6 months in college.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What were
Yeah.
you
So
doing?
I was mostly working on some of these extensions that we use on Wikipedia. So including upload wizard and page trials. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't remember the other ones that we had.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Upload Wizard is still heavily used.
Yes,
Um,
yes. I added a feature to import images from Flickr, I believe so.
oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Um, uh, yeah. How many extensions have you created in all? Do you have do you have any idea?
I don't know. Probably, I mean, I think at least 8 to 10 would be, publicly available, and then maybe some 5, 6 which are not publicly available
Yeah.
so
Okay.
far.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Although
Yeah.
hopefully everything can be released at some point. Oh well, if it's
Yes,
still
yes,
useful, and a bunch of
yes.
utility scripts and stuff like that too.
Yeah, those are very minor, like about 2, 3, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Uh, so let's talk about True. I think that's extremely interesting. It used to be known
Yes.
as Honest Collars.
Right. That's correct.
With yeah. When did you create that? When did it start?
Around 2015. So from 2013 to 15, I was doing a job, and then doing my job, we created this company called Honest Callers, which was more like a search platform where you could find local services. Uh, that was also using a wiki, obviously, and I think I used Semantic Media Wiki at that point of time to save all of my data and query my data. So it started more like a hobby project, and then as time passed by, we kept on learning more and more stuff about the service industry, and then we kept doing pivots, and finally, I think about 2019, we renamed it to True, and did a full makeover of our business model, change business model, and it is what we have today. That is what the new model is, which is all about interior design and implementation.
Um, yeah. Okay. So originally it was just a way to find practitioners, electricians and designers and all that kind
Right.
of stuff.
Yes, yes. So the idea was very basic, that you have a form where you can type in certain things like your area and a few other things like what kind of requirement you have, and then you get a list of a bunch of professionals, and we had some sort of ratings and other things which we implemented. So that was a very early stage, and a lot of such startups had come in, mostly around Bangalore at that point of time. So and I don't remember what was the term called, but basically something related to locals, hyper local. Yeah, well, that was
Okay.
the word which was there at that point of time for all these startups.
Sure.
And yeah, and then I think 80% of them shut down,
Okay.
and 20% of them pivoted to something else, or only I think 1 or 2 of them have really become successful.
You're talking about startups in general, or startups doing something similar?
From something similar to ours, which was in the hyper local category.
Yeah. Okay. And that can include things like restaurant reviews and local news and stuff, or more
Not
specifically.
really. Not really. Mostly about searching providers.
I see.
So
Okay.
we
Okay.
did have one successful startup already for restaurant reviews by then.
You had what? Sorry, you had.
We already in India had a successful startup which was into home reviews. Restaurant reviews.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, well, yeah, okay. Um, um, yeah, and so, your website was a wiki, was all based on MediaWiki.
Yes, yeah, I mean it was based on wiki, but then you would not really think that it's a wiki because the skin was a fully customized one, and we
Sure.
didn't make it editable by anybody else, except people could just post reviews.
Yeah, yeah. But still, that must have saved quite a bit on development costs versus all of those other startups you
Exactly.
mentioned.
Exactly, obviously, yeah. So yeah, the development didn't really even take me a lot of time. All of the data was already using Semantic Media Wiki. The query was using Semantic Media Wiki. Even the review system was based on Semantic Media Wiki. So it was more about just putting things together, and we didn't really have to do a lot of development. And I
Yeah.
think that is the whole goal of Media Wiki. That is where Media Wiki solves the problem.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. It's a cliche to talk about reinventing the wheel and so forth, but
Yes.
if development can be, one person's part-time job versus requiring 10 people working full-time, then
Yes.
obviously you have a much better if you're a startup, you have a much better chance of success not
Yeah, I
running.
mean, you can easily go to at least to a prototype and then figure out stuff.
Yeah. I mean, right. I mean, I guess you weren't thinking of Honest Colors as a prototype at that point. I assume you were, or maybe you were. It was it sort of an
Yeah, I
experiment?
mean, yeah, it was sort of an experiment which we then wanted to do full time, and uh, yeah, and then as we started to take it more and more seriously, we kept on exploring different things and making changes to our website and the business models.
Yeah. Um, and then was the change to business model was the change of business model concurrent? Did it happen at the same time as the change of name to True?
Not really. So we did 2, 3 pivots already before that, and then changing the name was on last thing on our mind. So we basically assumed that if everything works, then the name doesn't matter that much. And then at some point where we are very sure that okay, we have something which is already working and doing great. So at that point we find that okay, let's change the name because
Okay.
some people were confusing our name to let's say Truecaller, which is an app that we use here in India.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Also collar, like the collar around your shirt.
Yes,
Yeah, okay, yeah,
yes,
yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
yeah. Um,
and we wanted a short name, so we didn't want to have a long name, and people having it confused with other things.
right. Yeah, I like the name True. It's got that kind of high-tech feel to it, like a misspelled word, which is very popular. And I guess it sort of means true. I don't know. To me, it signifies true as in there's a the verification process of the people who are listed.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it is not really that right now. So we don't have a listing anymore. We just have our own teams for everything.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I guess I should have covered that first with the new business model. Okay, let's backtrack. Yeah. So
uh,
what is the current approach?
so So the current approach is very much like a private brand, you can say, where we have our own in-house team, where we have our own in-house designers and project managers and other people who execute the projects. And we have a kind of experience center here in Bangalore where our clients can walk in and check the quality of work that we do, or just get an idea of the different kinds of finishes or products that we support.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I didn't realize that. I mean, are there people, whether it's interior designers or anyone else who are working for you?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we have a
That's
full in-house team right now, and we do everything from the design to the end execution of the project now.
yeah. How many people is it altogether, if you can say?
I think we are about 24 or 5 right now.
Yeah. Okay. Um, in Bangalore or all around India?
Right now we are only in Bangalore.
Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, that's so interesting. You ended up in the in home interior business.
Right.
Yeah. um, I know I'm sure, especially in a quickly growing metropolis like Bangalore. That's I'm sure that's a good business to be in. Um, so it's so MediaWiki is still being used, although even less obviously. It's
Yeah.
getting less
So
visible.
yes, yeah. While we changed our business model or the business name, but we're still using MediaWiki heavily. So we basically have a multi-server architecture right now, and we have a bunch of extensions. Some of them, very badly written, and some of them which we have recently written some new extensions which are in such a way that we can at some point of time release them to the public.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, in what way are you using the wiki or wikis?
Yeah, sure. So the whole website is a wiki. It's just a skin that we are using, and it looks like any other modern website, and not a wiki. Apart from that, a lot of stuff that we have are pages in terms of our articles, or in terms of project photographs, or you can say that is more like a portfolio. All of those are wiki pages actually, and there's a page where we have different projects that we have done. You can just go to any of these projects and just browse the photos of those projects.
Yeah, you're saying
And
previous
that
projects you've previously done.
Yes, yes,
Right.
and we have a gallery of images over there that is all stored in Semantic Media Wiki, and when you see it, it's through a result format where it opens up in a lightbox thing,
Okay.
but a full screen view. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you created it.
Yeah, there's one format which I created it, and yes, I'm yet to publish that.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Um, but are you just using it for for the public display of
No, not
content?
really. So the entire system is hosted on MediaWiki. One of the most important things of that we use is the page versioning. So we have stuff like client quotations that are as a wiki page, and I use the different since we have already have this versioning thing in wiki, right? So I just use them to show to our client the different versions of the quotations that they get. So each and everything ends up using MediaWiki, and is an extension to MediaWiki that sometimes may not be using the wiki software that much, the real MediaWiki software, and could be just that I created my own database, and I'm just it's just part of that. But then we
Yeah,
have
okay.
a bunch of special pages, and we have a bunch of code that is custom written.
Right. Okay. Yeah. 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 You're not actually putting things in wiki text. It's just the media wiki is a convenient way
Yes,
to
yes.
handle all that
Yes,
data.
it's kind of a storage system for us right now. There's versioning. There is who's the author of that particular version. So we have such a useful features. Then we have the API backend. So I just implemented few of my API calls over that. So there's this bunch of stuff which I can just reuse and not have to again, as you said, reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's cool. I mean, is it fair to say that you're using for project management? Is that how you describe it?
Yeah, so we use it for a bunch of things now, including we have a attendance or HR portal. We have a email thing where you can check emails. Now, recently we have added a way where you can schedule meetings with different people. All of this are an extension, and we're using it in all kinds of way which a business, whatever things are there which a business requires. For example, payouts or payments and incoming payments, outgoing payments. So we use it for almost everything. Everything is an extension for us.
That's really neat that that email people
Yeah.
access their email through the wiki as well.
Yes. Yes. So I have written an extension, and that is one of the extension which I was planning to release it. So basically, you can just host your email server on AWS. There is a concept in AWS where all your mails will go through S3 bucket, and then my extension can just pull your emails out from there, and then it gives you a Gmail-like interface. And that is more useful for business emails, and you can just read your emails and send your emails from there.
Yeah, that's amazing. I have a little bit of experience with with the email world, with like the POP and IMAP protocols.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
wow. So, okay, so you created this Gmail-like interface within MediaWiki?
Yeah. Yeah. True. That's true.
That's amazing. Yeah, okay. Is there like a WYSIWYG element to it too? Or you just,
Yes.
wow,
Yes. I did use a JavaScript plugin for that.
man, okay.
And it has some of these hooks, like if you get an email and then if some of your other extensions want to do something with it, so you can do that. So in that way, I'm using hooks in a lot of places within my code. That is something I would say a very pretty neat feature of MediaWiki that we use a lot.
Oh, sure. Yeah, all the hooks. Sure, sure. I mean, this whole world of extensions that we've created or been involved in, none of it would be possible if it weren't
Right.
for all those hooks.
Right.
Yeah, so that's really neat. So the idea with the email thing is, I'm guessing it's really for use by the contractors. No, somebody's at the.
No, so what it really is a CRM tool. So let's say we have an email ID called contact@true.com, and all our clients send their emails to this mail ID, and we send all our mails to the clients through this mail ID. Now we have different people who are customer relationship managers who are handling different clients. So what this does is it will automatically read the email and then figure out which client is sending us that email and then assign it to the right person within our team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so whoever opens up that page, they only see whichever their clients whatever mails their clients are sending. So it's a common mail ID, and then multiple people can use it for different client communications with different clients.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I guess what you're saying is the the emails don't just stay within the email world. That information also is stored elsewhere in this kind of CRM setup that you have.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So we as I think I told you sometime back that we do have a CRM implementation as well within our wiki as an extension. So that kind of works with this.
Yeah, and CRM, for the people who don't know, is I believe customer relationship management.
Yes, yes. That is typically used for initially for the sales part, where each inquiry that a client posts on our website comes into the CRM, and then once we do the sales, so post that project management is where we use it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm learning about that whole world. I want MediaWiki and consulting companies like ours, like WikiWorks, to get more into that whole
Right.
world. Did you look at all into real quote unquote CRM solutions?
Yeah. I mean, not initially. When we just started, this concept where we have customers submitting inquiries on our website, and then we just started with a spreadsheet. That was the first thing that we did, and then as it became difficult to manage using that, we started with the CRM. At that point of time, we didn't have any revenue, obviously, so we didn't even think of paying to some CRM and trying it out. And then later, once we realized, okay, this is something I mean, we didn't know it was called a CRM at that point of time. given
Yeah.
neither me or nor Rajat, my other co-founder, we are not brought from this business background,
Right.
so we didn't know that. And then by the time I knew, okay, there's Salesforce, the lord of CRMs, and there are a bunch more. And by the time we have already developed our extension to a greater extent, and then we had some people joining within our company from different companies, and when we showed it to them, and they had experienced using other CRMs in different companies, they were like, no, this is pretty much what it does, so you don't have to switch to anything else.
Really, that's amazing. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really used. I've very barely seen things like Sugar CRM, or maybe it's now called just Sugar or something, and that kind of thing. I've
Yeah.
never seen Salesforce, so I don't really know what they do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, obviously they do a lot, but then we have the 60-70 of the main percentage of the main features that we require, right? So anything else can always be added up.
yeah, yeah, sure. You can always,
Yeah.
well, you can always write another extension, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
uh, so well, so how much of that is extensions that you're planning to release? I mean, ideally, do you want to release all of it, or is that not really
Not
a priority?
yeah, I mean, I do want to release all of it, but then some of these are not coded in a way which they're not that usable outside our company. So let's say if I talk about the CRM thing, it is very much specific to our organization. So in order to release that, we need to just kind of redo it entirely, and that is why it is not a priority right now. But then
Yeah,
after a point, I realized that this is what I've been doing. I've been creating so many extensions, and then a lot of these could be used by other people. Suppose that my idea has been to create extensions in a way that they can be used outside our company as well. So the emails thing that I talked to you about was one of those, and then we also did a portal for HR, basically, which is managing leaves and attendance of within our teams,
leads.
and
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
something also.
right.
Yeah, so that is something as well, something which we can definitely release in open source at some point of time.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I mean, that's also a big part of CRM. Knows like,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. Yeah. 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 Leads like potential future business and stuff.
No, not leads, I meant leaves, attendance leaves.
Oh, leaves. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Though that's,
Yeah.
yeah. So just, I don't know what that's called.
So I mean,
Yeah. HR type
that's the
stuff.
entire HR. That's what the entire the page is called as special HR. So it has everything related to HR within that page, and then all our employees are have their basically the user accounts on our wiki, right? So everyone has a user account on the wiki, and then we give them a special right called employees, and that's how they get their interfaces and how things work.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, cool. And so the contractors themselves, do they deal with the wiki? I mean, are they accessing it from their phones or something while they're on the job?
Yes. Yes, so we have also created about 3-4 extensions, which are basically just APIs, and then we have some 2-3 Android apps uh, for different kinds of roles, and all of them they use these apps to interact with
Oh,
the
okay,
content
okay.
of the wiki. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so they're they're
Uh,
they're they're rarely on the wiki directly. Do you? They have their own
Yeah, I
app?
mean, some of them who work from the from the office or from the home, they use the wiki, and everybody who's working from the sites, they use the apps.
Yeah, okay. And you wrote the apps
Yeah.
also?
Yes.
Man, okay.
So we have an app where basically when we make all of the furniture for a house. So it's pretty much how you might know about IKEA, right? It's all flat packed furniture, right? So we do those kind of exactly those kind of things, and then we have to dispatch all of that to a site. And a typical project of ours includes everything from a modular kitchen to various wardrobes and stuff. And there are about 400 to 500 parts for that project. that we pack. So
Wow.
we have a Android app which does the scanning for this. So each part has a label, and then the app scans them and marks that okay, these many packets have been scanned.
Man, okay. Yeah, that gets into what's known as ERP, no? Enterprise Resource Planning.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
probably, yeah. I mean, I don't really know much about the real
Yeah,
ERPs
okay,
that are out
okay.
there, but then yes.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
so yeah.
and in another interesting thing, yeah, so we have another extension which is basically the real ERP, where we have all these different suppliers of materials to us, and we create purchase orders and for different suppliers and contractors, and we make payments to this software. So all of that is also an extension.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so funny that you basically had to create this whole you know, set of common set of
Yeah, I mean,
functionality.
you could always, try out different companies and use their products, but then as a developer, as someone who knows how to create stuff,
Yeah.
it always you always end up in this situation where you have to sit with someone and ask them to customize their software for your needs, and then that's the messy part which we don't want to enter in. So we want to have our own stuff the way we like it, because we know it's pretty easy to do it, right? So creating something for our ERP for our ordering system was only took me like 10 to 15 days. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that is where we feel that okay, we can just create it as we want it and keep making changes, and we don't have to pay anybody anything.
Sure. Yeah. And you're the development team. It's you.
Yes, I'm
Right.
the developer team.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
So another interesting extension I would like to talk about.
sure.
Do you know about this software called SketchUp?
No,
No?
I
Okay.
don't think so.
Uh,
Sketcher?
SketchUp.
Oh, SketchUp. That sounds familiar, actually. Yes, it lets people
Yes.
draw things
Right.
together.
Yeah. Yeah. So we created an extension recently, and using that you can create models on SketchUp. So now the entire, let's say if we are doing a modular kitchen, so you can use this extension, which is a MediaWiki extension, to create your modules in SketchUp, and it can directly move to production. So it's just designed to production software that we did.
Okay, yeah. So SketchUp is not for just, doodling things. It's CAD or what have you, that kind of thing.
Yes, it's a 3D of CAD basically,
Yeah,
where
okay.
people used to design houses and architecture and interiors basically.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. And that's open source too, or you need to pay for that?
No, no, that we don't play. Oh, you're talking about SketchUp?
Yes. Oh, your thing
Yeah,
doesn't use SketchUp. It's a competitor's SketchUp, I guess. It's an alternate. It's
I know. No, our things is a plugin to SketchUp.
okay.
So
Okay.
basically, it integrates with SketchUp. We didn't create the entire 3D tool. We just use SketchUp. Yeah, and SketchUp is a paid thing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but we do plan to switch that to 3JS tool,
Oh,
if
okay.
you know about
So an open
3JS.
source equivalent.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Um. Yeah. Yeah. It's really neat. I mean, when you buy Salesforce or whatever, you're buying a ton of features and so forth that I guess you don't necessarily need.
Yeah,
Um.
that's true.
So in your case, you can create exactly what it is that you really do need, and
Yeah, I mean, there's two things. What you said, which you rightly said, is that you don't need a lot of features of this, and then since it's a very generic software, it takes time for us to adapt to the software, or the software to adapt to us, right? So that's a bunch of effort there as well.
Uh, yeah, sure. But yeah, sure. By the software adapting to you, you mean, well, I mean, in the worst case, if you didn't
I
have any
mean,
IT people.
the software, most of these CRMs like Salesforce do have ways where you can customize them as per your needs.
Okay.
Yeah, but you kind of need to take their help in doing that. That is what I know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's where that's where all these companies make a lot of their money, I think, is
Yes, that's
sending
true.
out their team of consultants to come help you actually use their software.
Right, that's correct.
Um, wow. Okay. Um, um, so yeah, I mean, this gets into what one of the big advantages of MediaWiki is you know it it doesn't have to be sorry, let me start over. um, One really nice thing about your setup is that it's all contained in one system, um,
Yes.
versus if you'd had to have a separate. I mean, is there an application that can handle all of these things? Do you know? I mean, you might not know, but
No, I don't think so.
yeah.
So, I
Okay.
mean, people have developed plugins or extensions with WordPress, and there are other uh, what do you call this CMS systems like there's this Django, something with Django, and then there are a few more. But then I don't think that that kind of existing extensions they probably would not have what we at MediaWiki have already. So using those the kind of effort that I have to put in becomes much lesser already.
Yeah. Um, and the contractors are you know they get it. I mean, does it is it working for them? The
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of my important focus was to keep the UI, in the right way, wherein anybody could use it. So that's one reason why I don't use any wiki text anywhere. So everything is either a form or
Yeah.
something close to a form. So we really don't use any kind of wiki text anywhere in our company.
Yeah.
I
No.
mean, I think that's one of the hardest part for people to get to be used to that kind of interface.
The wiki text editing, you mean?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Um, well, all of this, not to give you business advice, but all of this suggests a business, a second business model for you, which is
Right.
to sell this software and consulting around this software to other companies. I'm guessing the thought has at least crossed your mind.
Obviously, yeah. At some point, it did cross our minds. Obviously, yeah. But then we probably, the thing is, it's all about time management, right?
Yeah.
So there's already so much to do within our company, and grow it. That obviously we don't have time for that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that becomes a very different enterprise altogether, where you need to understand the needs of these different businesses, and you need to have your software customizable in different ways, so that all of them can use it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. It takes effort, but
Yeah. I mean, and one more thing is that currently I'm the only developer, so all of the code that I write, directly goes into production. And then, if you have a client who's using your software, you probably have to have some 99.9% uptime. That is one of the key features that is required.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
you could hire another developer if you want.
Yes. Yes. That is the right way if I ever want to go that way.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we probably would need to have some developers, and improving the code base would be a major thing
Okay.
to
Sure. Sure.
be able to sell it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's great. It's great that the current work is keeping you busy enough and compensated enough that you don't need to start thinking about
Yes.
alternate business models.
Yes, that is definitely a upper hand that we have right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, have you talked to other people in the industry? Who uh, potentially could benefit from this? Did you get the sense that there's a need for this kind
Yes,
of thing?
yes, yes. Obviously, I did I have some friends who are working in some of these different startups, where they probably require some of these softwares. But then the thing is that there are other companies who are developing CRM. So there is a company in Bangalore which is doing really well in terms of CRMs, and uh,
Okay.
there are a lot of competitors in CRMs, right? So you know, getting a hold of someone, you need to do really well in making your CRM. I mean, just to make the software won't work for people.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is sort of what I was going to get at before is, obviously there's a ton of CRMs, there's a ton of project management tools, there's a ton of tools for any one of these specific things. But I think one big strength of MediaWiki is that it can do all of them. It doesn't necessarily have to be 100,
Right.
the best at each of them.
Right. Right. That is true. That is one of the important strengths. I mean, anybody who's looking to start a company, if let's say they have 5 of my extensions, I mean, it would be very very straightforward for them to start the business. But then, one of the important things, if you want other people to try out your software or use it, is that everything has to be customizable, right? And they need to customize it from the UI, not by putting in some settings or somewhere in the code or something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
So
Well, that's okay.
yeah,
That's, the
yeah.
highest
So
level.
that's yeah. I mean, that's where to reach that extent within our extensions is some effort that is required probably, and then you can kind of make it available for someone to use it.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I mean, everyone makes fun of, Microsoft Word for having, 1,000 different customizations that you can do, and you can change, drag and drop things on the in the menu and so forth, and a lot of it is unnecessary and maybe even counterproductive because then there's no consistent interface.
Correct.
That if you try looking for the help, if you get confused and look at the help, it won't look like what you have set up for yourself now, or that kind of thing. um so I
Right.
don't know, there's definitely an argument to be made for keeping things simple and consistent, even if not everyone is 100% happy with how it looks, I guess. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that is correct. But then, how I look at things is that, if I enter into let's say CRM, business, or make my CRM available for people, I would want it to be perfect thing, or at least would be interested in making it something really good.
Yeah,
So if I know that I don't have that much of time and energy to make that effort, then that's something which I not really getting into. But
yeah,
then,
okay.
yeah, but then obviously there is a scope for something like MediaWiki, which has all of these extensions, and and then the other aspect is the getting people to use it. So that is also requires some effort, which I don't have time to make right now. So that those are the two main reasons, the effort in development and the effort in reaching out to people and getting them
Yeah,
to use
sure.
it.
Yeah, sure. Marketing and sales is the whole other
Yes,
category of
yes.
stuff.
I mean, most of these CRMs, they have very good marketing teams. That is one of the key things they have.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. Well, hopefully, in your case, the results speak for themselves. Um, but you know, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Um, uh, yeah. Well, just getting back to that, customizing the interface. I really think this is kind of minor, but I really think that the best way to customize an interface is via settings, like local settings or something, as opposed to enabling people to drag and drop functionality and so forth. Um, I don't know. I just wanted to say that.
So yeah, I mean, it's not just about the UI. It's also about other kind of features that are very very particularly associated with your business. What mails to go, and when to go. What is the content of those mails? So
Okay. Yeah.
you have to kind of have a a
Okay. I get it.
platform,
Right.
or a page where you can add those things and customize those settings.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
have we have all of that hard coded right now in our backend, and that's the
Yeah.
whole problem.
I did write an extension called site settings once that lets you
Ah,
uh,
okay.
change around settings from the web interface. That's the one extension of mine that I don't think anybody's used besides me.
Is it still active? Is it still active?
It should still work in theory. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. And how does it work?
It basically creates. It has its own database table,
Okay.
which overrides whatever settings there are in local settings.php. So you have a
Okay. So basically,
checkbox.
you just fill in the global variable.
Yes, it has checkboxes and inputs and so forth for whatever settings you want
Okay.
to customize in there. I don't remember how customizable it is.
Yeah, I mean, with the new format of how we write extensions and how we have a manifest file within each extension, so I think it is much easier to implement something like what you talk about, because you know what settings each extensions define.
Sorry, what was that last thing?
Yes, I mean each of these extensions these days have a JSON file, right? The manifest file.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
which has all
Extension.json.
the yeah, so which has all the settings that you want to implement.
Yeah, sure, sure. That makes sense. I think that was part of the thinking behind extension.json, if I remember correctly. But
Correct.
I don't think anyone has actually ever implemented that. Something that goes into each one and says, okay, these are the configurations, and let me make one big
Yes.
interface around all of it.
Yes, I think that should be something which should have been done by now.
Sure. Yeah, and I guess, and if thinking even more broadly, something that lets you install and uninstall extensions.
Right.
But well, that's not necessarily tied in. But yeah, I hope someone listening, watching, can get on that.
Yeah, true. There has been efforts, I mean, but then none have materialized yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't seem that difficult. You just go through all these JSON files, get the array of settings for each one, and make some kind of interface around it.
Right.
All right. Well. um, um, yeah. Cool. So you're currently in Bangalore. I guess the other possibility for expanding the business is to move into other locations. Um,
Right.
I-
Yeah, so we are planning to cover other metro cities in India as once the whole situation with the corona thing goes away, right? So uh, I think most likely it should happen within 3 months that we have enough people vaccinated in all the major cities to reopen.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna ask if the pandemic has had an effect on the business, on the whole home renovation and
Yeah,
business.
yeah. I mean, to some extent, obviously, one of the biggest reason is that since all the offices are closed, most of the people have just went back to their native places. So Bangalore right now is not as populous as it was.
I
People
see.
have just moved out. Yeah, so that kind of leaves an impact, and then obviously all the construction industry and everything has been hit with the since the last year itself, and then that has also slowed things a bit. So anyways, we do have plans to expand within Bangalore. So we are coming up with one more experience center in one another locality in Bangalore, and then obviously we plan to expand to other cities. Hopefully, by the end of this year, we should,
Yeah.
find some other city that where we try to enter in.
Yeah. That's great. Um,
Yeah.
it's pretty rare, from what I understand, for Indian startups and companies to expand outside of India. Is that correct, or is that not really correct?
No, I think these days people have been expanding out of India. So, in fact, one of the startup which I was talking about called Zomato, which basically is your reviews for restaurants. It went ahead and acquired a company in the US, and has its presence there now.
Yeah. Okay.
I think there's a company called Urban Spoon. Do you know about that?
Urban Spoon, yes. I think I've heard of the other one,
Yeah.
Zomato too, or something, or Zomato. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Urban Spoon.
Zomato went there and acquired Urban Spoon.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and then we have this startup which is into mobility, something like Uber, which is called as Ola. So that has been doing pretty well in India, and then it has, I think, reached into UK now.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
yeah, so I mean, as and when they reach a very big size, and they cover most of the market that is available in India, a lot of them are going out these days,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
then a lot of them are basically copycats of some US or European startups, and then they probably end up staying within India because what they are building is already there in other places.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Of course, that's a very big market. Just
Yes.
India.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. That is true. That is true.
yeah.
I mean, given India is kind of just jumping ahead with the whole internet boom thing, right? So we have so many young people here, and so many software developers that just jumping ahead in terms of startups and making new stuff. So I think at some point we are going to be at a place where we are just creating new stuff which is not there anywhere else.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You're talking about the
I mean, the
Indian
development
tech
overall.
scene in general.
Yeah, tech in general.
Yeah. Okay.
For example, the kind of payment systems that we have right now in India is something which we don't have in, which as of what we know is not there in other countries, and people are kind of copying that same approach, where you can instantly transfer money to the other person just by
Yeah. Okay.
scanning a QR code.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know what the state of the art was as far as that. I know about Venmo, but that's it. Um,
Okay,
yeah. That's
what
really
does
okay.
Venmo do?
Venmo. I don't know if you've heard of it. That's in the U.S. That's what people
No.
use for sending money through their phones. I guess. I don't know.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah.
um, uh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So potentially you could expand outside of India also if it.
Yes, yeah. So so far, whatever I know about, how furniture is being done in most of the countries, I think it is still, underdeveloped. There are not many startups there into those things, and there is potential to kind of improve that scenario.
Yeah. Um,
But then there's a major difference between India and most of the Western countries. For example, when you buy a house in US, I think it comes with most of the basic furniture like your kitchen and other stuff.
right.
Whereas whereas when you buy a house in India, you just get bare walls. You don't get any furniture at all. So
Yeah. Okay.
that's a major
Well.
difference. So everything is customized here. Each and every element of the house is customized.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. It depends on it. Yeah. It depends. But yeah. Okay. Right. Right. Um. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um. Well, cool. And I guess once you have the software in place, if in a sense you're an IT company. You're an
Correct.
IT company masquerading as a home interior company.
That's true. That's the whole idea that I started from the very beginning. So a lot of these areas have a lot of low hanging fruit. Yeah. So people have been using those traditional tools so far, and there's a lot of scope to improve those things, and also to automate a lot of things. So
Yeah.
that is one of the fundamental ways in which we can transform the entire industry. So what we are looking at is you just design something and then it immediately goes into production, and there's no it's just a one click step. You just have your house designed and just click it, and then it goes into production
Oh
and
wow.
is ready
Okay.
to install.
Yeah, we didn't even get to that part of it, or I guess a little with the SketchUp thing, but yeah, that's okay. Okay. Yeah, that's really cool. Presumably that makes projects go a lot faster than they would otherwise.
Yes. Yes, another component of that same extension is the quotation part. So as and when you design your house, the quotation is live generated using the extension that we built. So we don't have to look at so how the industry typically works anywhere is that you have your design and then people measure the designs and then make a quotation manually. So
Yeah.
whereas we are kind of doing that through software now, and then it is auto generated real time. So a customer can always make the decision whether if you have, let's say, two design choices, you can instantly make that decision when you consider your budget, that okay, which is the one you want to go for.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Okay. So what that uh how much time does that shave off the process? Is it, the difference between weeks and hours, or what?
Yeah, so yeah, it is a difference of at least 3 weeks that we have, kind of we're trying to save now in the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
um yeah, that's yeah, okay. Yeah, that's really cool.
yeah.
Uh I mean, yeah, if I had more home interior knowledge, I might ask more probing questions or detailed questions, but I mean, it sounds amazing and it makes perfect sense. I mean, um I would think with a lot of people who are in the industry, if they come from if it's a family tradition or something, then
All
presumably
right.
there are a lot of cases where technology hasn't really come into the whole process yet.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, anybody who is not from a technical background does not really know what is possible, right? So that is the main reason that things don't advance. And when you merge in the tech background person, and you let them work with somebody who is not from the tech background, and then like, oh, why are you doing it this way? There has to be a better way, right? And that's the process, I guess, where in each and every field where we create something new, and then that transforms the way of doing those things.
yeah, yeah, um, yeah. That's amazing. And again, if you had to create all the software from scratch, you would need to probably talk to venture capitalists and all of that uh,
Right.
kind of stuff to and this way you can really just create it
Yes.
and yeah, let the business drive the software forward, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that is what we are doing right now. That is absolutely correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. I mean, we've obviously we've known each other for so long, and we talk about MediaWiki stuff all the time. But this podcast is a great excuse for me to actually find out all the stuff you're doing on the side. Um,
Yeah.
um, uh, yeah, and yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe maybe at some point you'll have your own consulting company doing implementing this for people full time, or maybe it's something for WikiWorks to do. We'll see. Or of course, once it's open source, anyone can get into it. So,
Yeah, sure.
um, well, cool. Have you released any of the software? Is there anything that people can see at this point?
Not really, not really. Just one small extension that I wrote, which basically, creates AMP pages. If you know of AMP, which is basically a Google project where you have instant loading pages appear on Google search. So these are basically light pages of your light version of your website's pages, which Google will load very fast.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so I wrote an extension which basically converts any of your page into an AMP page.
Oh, cool. What's that called?
Yeah, it's just called AMP,
Yeah. Okay.
extension AMP. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So I know a couple of people who use it, and I've heard from them. Uh, Basically, anybody who's concerned about SEO, would try it out.
Sure.
It surely helps in ranking better in Google.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. Um, well, yeah, okay, great. I mean, uh, yeah, I hope people. Well, if anyone is listening in Bangalore, they should check out uh, True as an option for home interiors.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I wouldn't be surprised if there are people who are hoping to see some more of your software released. Um, of course, you're busy with a lot of other things, but yeah, this was really interesting, and I think it's great to be able to see some of the stuff that people can do with MediaWiki, you know, in the real world.
Right.
It's
Yes.
aside from just the wiki as the product.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I think that is one of the biggest ways of using MediaWiki, which we don't talk about that often.
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, great. This was very informative, and it's always good to talk to you. So
Yeah. Sure. Same here.
yeah. So thank you very much, Nischay. It was good talking to you, and thanks for coming on.
Great. Thank you so much for hosting me on this podcast.